Every time that sexual assault is in the news, we have the same conversation. And that conversation is almost always amongst women.
How do we present ourselves as women? What are we asking? Are we asking for it?
Is the official White House position that all of these women are lying?
Yeah, we've been clear on that from the beginning.
Melania Trump is denouncing the women who have come forward alleging her husband behaved inappropriately.
It doesn't matter how you dress. Rape is an act of violence and power.
So today we're going to talk to two women. Okay, I'm sorry. Is it most violence against women perpetrated by men?
Right.
Why don't we talk to men when we talk about sexual assault? We're doing a whole episode about sexual assault and we're only talking to men. I went to meet with Dr. Jackson Katz, a leader in the movement of men working to prevent men's violence against women. In his viral TED Talk, he asks a very important question.
What's going on with men? Why do so many men rape women in our society and around the world? Why do so many men rape other men? Because this isn't about individual perpetrators. That's a naive way to understanding what is a much deeper and more systematic social problem.
In the US alone, someone, male or female, is sexually assaulted every 98 seconds. Of those assaults, 77% of the perpetrators are men. Then why do we keep talking about this as a women's issue?
Part of the reason why we think about it as a women's issue is because, number one, women have been at the forefront of this work. Women built the anti-rape movements in the 1970s. And, honestly, there's way more women victims.
You're against the term violence against women, or you think that there needs to be a paradigm shift. Can you talk about that?
So much of the conversation about sexual violence and sexual harassment and domestic violence employs the passive voice, asking the question, how many women were raped versus how many men raped women. It shifts our attention off of men and boys, and it puts it onto girls and women. If you insert the active agent, men, you have a new and more accurate phrase, men's violence against women. It's actually more accurate, and it's more honest.
Language can change how we see the problem and where we find the solution. Dr. Katz is determined to redefine what it means to be a strong man. Is that part of it, too, that somehow a real man's man is not supposed to acknowledge these issues, is not supposed to, like somehow it's weak to recognize sexual assault would be your responsibility?
The men who are supportive of women's efforts for equality, who speak out about sexual assault and domestic violence, actually are, in many cases, stronger than the men who resist that. The guy who speaks up and challenges and interrupts other guys who are being sexist, they often get called, soft, wusses, But in fact, what takes something special is the guy who does turn to his friends and say, come on, guys, this is not right. And yet that guy gets called soft and weak. A lot of men will say, I'm a good guy, this isn't my problem, I don't rape women, I don't abuse my girlfriend. And I'll say, you know what, I think we need to raise the bar a little higher for what it means to be a good guy in the United States in 2017. And just saying, I don't rape women, or I'm not a rapist, is not particularly impressive to me. And I think if guys can latch on to, it's actually strong to embrace gender equality. It's actually strong to be a partner with women as an ally and a partner in this work, then get on board with this.
Dr. Katz is a pioneer of the bystander approach, teaching men to intervene when they see dangerous behavior. It's still early, but research shows that this type of training actually works. In Kentucky, for instance, schools that introduced a bystander program reduced sexual violence by about 12%. 12% fewer assaults. I went to visit Nicholas Ferroni, a 10th grade history teacher, who's integrated this approach into his classroom. He's the advisor for the Boys to Men Club, an after-school education program for boys at Union High School in New Jersey.
Boys and Men started off last year. Our goal is to change the perception of the young man in the school. It started out small, and then we kind of branched out. And a lot of the cool guys started to join. So it turned into more of, hey, man, watch your mouth, or, hey, just be a little bit more respectful, or don't say that. And everybody started to follow, like, you're right.
I think all of us can probably say, including myself, that we may have said and done something that's considered normal behavior, but when you look back, it's definitely sexist and misogynistic. But it's like the 4 words that I hate, which I think are the foundation of everything, are boys will be boys. I've been in a lot of locker rooms. I've never talked like that, never, but it's like the boys will be boys concept is kind of like a free pass to say, we can treat women or do whatever we want because, we're boys.
Jordan, do you feel like boys sort of hold on to that idea of boys will be boys, like that they...
I feel like they use that as an excuse, kind of, like just so they can do whatever they want. It just basically lets them ignore the problems that women go through, in a sense, Just by being able to say, oh, I get to say whatever I want to because I'm a man. It's not okay.
Right. What would you say to people who think that it's girls' or women's responsibility to prevent sexual assault?
I disagree 100%, because it's never the girl's fault. It can't be. How can you stop yourself from being raped? Or they say, oh, well, maybe she shouldn't have dressed that way. You should never have a reason for, oh, she got raped because she did this. That's never the answer.
What's the most important thing you've learned in the Boys to Men Club?
There's always something you could do to help. Like if it's just bringing awareness to the issue or protesting, lobbying, or talking to victims, there's always something you could do.
Don't ever be afraid to speak out because you say it, the next person next to you might be feeling that way too, but they were just too scared to say it.
Thank you so much.
Perhaps adult men should take a cue from these boys and make sexual assault their responsibility. Maybe that's what locker room talk should be.
Over the last few years, body image, body positivity, and body diversity has been showing up more in the mainstream media. But is it enough for a woman to love her curves if she still faces real external consequences for how she looks?